Hey there, Marie-Louise here, and today I'm doing something a bit different. I am going live on Instagram and on Facebook, so let me know if you can actually hear and see what I'm saying. Yeah, so today's video is the first of my new Tuesday line, and it's going to be about me answering questions that I've received from you, so my followers, the singles who are out there who need some help, and that's what I'm here for. So today's question comes from Jody, and she is one of my Instagram followers. So I wanted to go make sure that I went live on Instagram today, pretty much for the first time, to discuss the question and the issue that she's put forward to me. So please, if you're watching, make sure that you give me a thumbs up and hashtag live. And if you join in later, give me a hashtag replay. I'm trying to look at both places because I do want to feel like I'm talking to everybody. So make sure you join in. Now, the question of the day is, so Jody wrote to me and she said she wants me to talk about whether I or whether people were told not to open up about their problems and their feelings to people. And she thinks that it's more about the stiff upper lip, which is an issue that a lot of people have, I believe, have been told and faced over their lives. So if this is the first time, and I'm just going to speak to my Instagram people here, if it's the first time that you have met me before, my name is Marie-Louise and I'm the lifestylist. And what I do is I give people the confidence, single people, the confidence to learn to make dating decisions really, really easily, because it is possible. It's definitely easy to make difficult questions and difficult dilemmas so much easier if you just know how. And guess what? I know how. So welcome to all the Instagrammers out there, and hello to all my Facebook followers who are always loyal, always watching. And as always, I like to see lots of comments from you today, please. So if you missed the start, we're talking about how a lot of us have been told and raised not to share our feelings, not to open up to people and tell everybody our problems. And, you know, this can have a huge impact on the way we live our life. You know, you can go to work and, you know, they want you to ask questions and join in and say things, and you're like, I don't really know what to say and what to do, and I don't really know how to answer. And it can be really hard to contribute to a workplace where they actually really need you to do that. And I've been at lots of places and I'm super chatty and super friendly, but in a situation like a meeting where everybody sort of turns to watch, I might not want to join in. And I know how strange that sounds coming from someone who does these live videos, you know, practically every day. But sometimes you just don't want to do it. So I understand how it feels if that's what you have been going through. Now, guys, I can see a few people watching, so make sure you give us a thumbs up and a hashtag live because I can see you all watching. And, you know, if any of this is resonating with you, please feel free to leave a comment. If I don't comment back straight away, I will come back to you. So, you know, workplace is a common thing for all of us. We nearly all have had a job sooner or later. And we want to be heard, but sometimes it can be really hard to reveal what we have to say and the things that we're thinking. Sometimes it's because we weren't raised to do that. Sometimes it's because we've been in relationships, and I'm not necessarily talking about romantic relationships, but you can have friendships, family situations where you're just not really encouraged to do that. I was having a conversation on the weekend about this sort of thing. And I said, look, for me, I'm the youngest of 5. So if I didn't say what I had to say quick sticks, I'd just be falling by the wayside. I just would not get my say out there. So to a degree, I've learned to, in some situations, to put it out there and say whatever I've got to say. Now, sometimes that means it's not all that well prepared because you're like, quick, here's my moment, let me get it out there. But then there are other situations, as I was just saying a minute ago, about workplaces where you just don't always feel that it's really up to you to say something. And sometimes you get feedback and you're like, well, I know better now. I just won't say anything. But As with every video I make, and for those who are new on Instagram, thank you for joining in. I'm loving all the thumbs up. And I am a dating coach, and what I do is teach singles how to make their dating dilemmas and dating issues, dating decisions, really easy. It is so super easy to do once you know how. So we're talking about how some of us were raised not to reveal our feelings, not to tell people what we're upset about or what we're thinking about something, and it can be really difficult. Now, from a dating point of view, gosh, can you think back to a situation where this has happened to you, when you just didn't feel comfortable revealing yourself to somebody? If that's you, I want to see a big thumbs up from you right now, because I know that this is something that would be affecting a lot of people out there, because it's affected me at some stage or another as well. There are times when you just be in a dating situation and you're just like, I'll just won't say anything. Or somebody asks you a question, you're like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's not really fine, is it? You know, and you might go away thinking, what was I doing there? That's not like me. And then the next time you're in that same situation, you're like, I really need to say something now. I really have to. But sometimes, because you have said nothing in the first case, you started a precedent. And so then you don't feel comfortable actually saying whatever it is. And look, in that situation, I'm talking about minor things. You know, what you want to eat, what you want to have for dinner, where you want to go, little things like that. But when you can't open up about those little things and give information about yourself about the little things, what about the big things? What about when you want to tell somebody you like them? Or when you really feel like you have to, you've got something going on that you're bottling up because you don't feel like you can actually say it to somebody. You don't feel like you can share it. Tell me about a situation like that. If you've had a moment like that where you felt like you really wanted to talk to somebody but you couldn't, and somebody in a dating situation that is, let me know. Because I think most of us have been there. And for every time you comment and say what you've done, somebody else will say, you know what, that was me as well. That was definitely me. And you know what, in the past, I've felt like that. I've definitely felt like that. And the thing is that I'm a little bit different from most, because I have evolved. I've done a lot of thinking, a lot of personal development, if you want to call it that. And I actually have, well, not always. This isn't always, because most of what I'm teaching you guys is based on lessons that I've learned from the mistakes that I've made and the experiences that I've had. So what I have discovered is that I'm better off just saying what I think. I met somebody the other day and he said, you're a really honest person. I knew that from 3 minutes into our conversation, that you're a really honest person. And I was like, oh, really? What do you think? And he said, I just know that if I ask you a question, you will give me an honest answer. And I was like, absolutely will be. That is exactly me. I will give you the God's honest truth. But I will always try to be nice about it. You know what I mean? It's important to be nice about it. But what I was also saying is that not everybody is like that. I also believe that what I do is tell people how I feel about them. If I'm enjoying the situation, I want to be able to say, hey, this is amazing. I'm having such a great time. And that's a really important thing to be able to do in dating, because it can go both ways. Depending on your audience, that can be like, whoa, too much. She's like looking at wedding bells and stuff like that. That's not the case. With me, it's not the case. But I'm actually open about the way I feel about things. And in the past, I'll admit to you, it has scared guys off. What do you think about that? Do you think that would be scary? If you're out there and somebody said to you, I'm having a really good time with you. I just wanted you to know that. You know, I had a really great night or whatever. When has somebody told you that something that really turned you off? That was like, that is too much pressure, I can't handle this, she's going way too fast. Let me know what you're thinking about that. But the thing about that is that I actually don't care. I don't mind if I turn them off. I don't mind one little bit if they think I'm going too fast, because I actually know I'm not. I'm actually very, very, very good at taking my time. But one thing I will do is enjoy every single moment. So if I'm enjoying a moment and I want to say I'm enjoying it, I'll say it, because it's great feedback for them, but it's also about myself. It's about being able to be open and free and talk about my feelings, and especially my feelings in relation to the experience that I'm having right there and then. Definitely. So I think it's actually super important to talk to people and tell them how I feel. So if that's too much for that person, okay, I can handle that, because that just means that they're either not a big communicator, or they are exactly the person that Jodie's talking about. So for those who've joined in later, this topic is based on a suggestion I had from one of my Instagram followers, which is why I'm going live on Facebook and on Insta at the same time. How cool is that? Because I want to make sure that Jodie gets to see the topic being addressed. And so I don't mind if somebody thinks I'm going too fast. I know that I'm not, but they've got their own issues. They've got their insecurities and anxieties, and they've got their past that says, you know, that might be raising a red flag when they hear me say something like that. But that's okay, because what I feel about myself and the way I express myself and my feelings isn't, well, it's not gauged by the way they react. I'm going to keep doing that because that's who I am. And I would really like to think that you guys out there, if you have the balls to tell somebody how you feel, can actually follow through and just say it with all good intentions and not be rocked by a possibly negative reaction. Because I tell you what, it's not always negative. Sometimes by me saying how I feel, it actually opens the floodgates on the other person. It's like you see a sense of relief come over them, and they're like, me too, I'm having a great time. But up until then, because of the things that had happened in their past, the way they were raised, reactions they'd had previously, times where they stood up in a meeting and said something and everyone just went, well, thanks for coming. They haven't felt comfortable doing that again. But because I was, well, I don't think I was all that brave, but in some situations, I guess it would be considered to be brave. Because I was brave enough to open up, they then felt brave enough and they responded in kind. And then I got to hear how happy they are and the great things that they're feeling at the time. So what do you think of that? Can you do that? Do you open up? Does it take a while? I know people who really struggle to open up when they're on dates, and it can make it really difficult, because if you go on a first date, say you've met somebody online and you're going on a first date with them and you're a bit shy and you're not prone to chatting, you're not a chatty box like I am, then that can be really difficult. And then you've got the added issue of not being one to open up about your feelings and, you know, to have a stiff upper lip, as Jodie mentioned, and to keep things to yourself and don't talk about things, and, you know, you don't tell strangers your problems. If that's how you are, then imagine that first date from the other person's perspective. So they've come on a date with you. You might have been, you know, having a great chat online, and they've been really excited to meet you. And then all of a sudden you're kind of not the person that they thought you were going to be. And then they're like, well, I'm getting nothing here. Here I am telling them everything about my day and what's happening and what's going on, and I'm getting crickets. That means in a lot of situations that they wouldn't want to see you again, because they just think you're never going to tell them anything. And honestly, in that situation, what I recommend is that you just say to them, listen, I'm a little bit of a slow burner. I'm having a great time. want you to know that. But it takes me a little time to open up in person. I'm great on text. I'm really chatty. But in person, it takes me a little while. And that way, they will understand that you're not withholding from them. They will realize that if they just give you a chance, that they will actually get to know you a little bit better. You'll start revealing yourself a little bit more to them. And all is going to be great in the world. And because that means that if you were so nervous on your first date that you couldn't fully be yourself, which is what part of this is, because you may have this amazing personality, but because you're not able to express yourself and reveal things, you may not be showing the real person that you are. And I've no doubt you're amazing. I believe you're fabulous. But that might take the second or the third date to really come out. So if you can muster up the courage to say, hey, listen, just give me a minute. I'm having a great time. You're fabulous. I'm enjoying this. Let's do this again. And, let's just get a bit more comfortable with each other. Then that'll help. I mean, it does help if you orchestrate the date to be in a situation that you're comfortable with. If you need a couple of drinks, then make sure you have a couple of drinks before you go to the date, or at least at the date. Make sure that you're at a pub or a venue where you can have a drink just to relax yourself. Do not get smashed. There is no getting smashed before a date or at the start of a date. Maybe by the end of the date, if you're both drinking, that's a whole different story. But it's also a whole nother video, so we'll talk about that then. But if you have to do that to make yourself feel a bit more comfortable so that you can relax and you can reveal a bit more, then that's okay. It's okay. But in the meantime, think about the ways that you've been raised. Have you been raised not to tell people everything? I want to know. I want to know your comments. Have a little think about that. Feel free to leave me a comment. And for anyone who's just joined at the last minute, what we're talking about today is whether you've been raised not to talk about your feelings and reveal your innermost truth, your innermost self, whether you've been taught to bottle it up and just not tell everybody everything, because that can have a huge impact on your work life, friendships, relationships, and of course dating. And because do not confuse relationships and dating. They're not the same thing. They are two very, very different things. Dating is what you're doing when you're starting to get to know the person. Relationship is when you've decided you want to be with that person and they've decided they want to be with you. So I get a lot of comments in my Facebook group and on my Facebook page about when I'll ask a question about dating, and the answer will come back and it will be very much about when you're already with the person. And that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about dating and how your inability to open up can make it really hard for another person to get to know you, because it really does happen. I know people who've done it. I know women in particular who have gone on so many first dates, come home and said how hot the guy was, how amazing the guy was, how talented and ambitious and all the great things that woman was looking for in a man. And when I said, and great, how did you go? And she said, like this one in particular, I couldn't really do it. I just couldn't tell him anything. And it's like, it's a wasted opportunity. Every time you can get yourself a date, that is a chance to get closer to finding maybe the one, if that's what you believe in, but at least the one for right now. The one who you can spend time with and enjoy yourself and go out and do things with, and who will help to give you the experience that will get you the one if that person doesn't turn out to be the one. So it's really important to take every opportunity you get, every conversation you have in the street, in the supermarket, anywhere you are. You don't have to reveal everything. You do not, but take the reins. When somebody talks to you, I was telling somebody the other day about these earrings. I just bought these earrings the other day, right? And I bought them from a friend of mine who makes them. And I was telling her that everywhere I go when I'm wearing her earrings, I have people say to me, my God, I love those earrings. Where did you get them? If you want to know where I got them, you'll have to ask. And I said to her, I just tell everybody, I get chatting. On the train, the woman was passenger next to me. I had admired her bag. She admired my earrings. We chatted the whole way home, telling each other where we got them, how much they were, all these sorts of things. And have you seen this brand? And have you seen that brand? We talked about things. But I was saying to my friend who made the earrings that not everybody does that. I talk to people and say, oh, my God, I love that dress. And they'll be like, thank you. And I'll be like, having to work so hard to find out where they got it from. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can just be like, thanks. Yeah, I love it too. And then off and running, because the first person who started the conversation will be like, well, where did you get it from? How long have you had it? How much was it? And there you are, having conversation. Now, I know that's not the same thing as what Jody has brought to me, which is more about opening up about problems and things like that. But it is a basis. All those little conversations that you can have anywhere you go are all practice for when you have to bring up the big topics. And sooner or later, there are big topics. You've been seeing somebody for a little while. You've gone on, I don't know, half a dozen dates. You started thinking about introducing them to your friends, and maybe, you might bring them to Sunday lunch or something like that. You're taking steps towards solidifying it, and you want to see where they're at. How are you going to bring that up if you don't feel comfortable talking about the big stuff and sharing your feelings? Because most people are not psychic. They can't just assume, or they can't read your mind and see that you're feeling the same way they are. So you're going to have to be able to do that sooner or later. And it starts with the small conversations, gradually building up, telling them little bits and pieces about your life. And I do mean gradually. You don't have to reveal all this at the start. And I absolutely do not recommend revealing anything big before you've met a person. So if you're talking online, I want no big conversations. But later on, you have to be able to do it. It's the way you're going to take the relationship to the next level, whatever the level that is for you, and however you gauge that. But you will need to be able to do it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there, but what I want to wrap it up by saying is that this has been my first #Tuesday episode. So that is about Tuesday being about me answering questions that I received from my followers, or just topic suggestions that you raise. If you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to talk about, you can message me and just say #Tuesday, and that is TYOUSDAY. So #Tuesday, and that means it is about you and the question you've got or the suggestion you've got. So if you're watching me on Instagram, please make sure you follow me so that you can see more of these videos. I have heaps of videos on here anyway, but they're also on YouTube under Lifestyle and Dating Coach. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you turn on the notifications so that you can see when I'm live, because I do go live pretty much every day. I've been doing a lot of lives about maths. Today is not that day because I'm a night behind. I was actually out on my own date on Sunday night, so I did not get to watch Sundays live, and I haven't caught up. I've watched Sundays, but I haven't watched last night. So I'll skip Sunday. I'm a bit annoyed about a few things I saw anyway, so best I don't talk about that episode. But I will catch up soon, and I do a live every day. So if on Instagram, if you want to see my Facebook lives, I am on that. My phone's playing up. Facebook.com/lifestyle and dating coach. And if you want to friend me, you can. And that's where I also do lives. I do spontaneous little lives throughout the day. All right, guys, thank you for the comments. I will get back to each and every one of you when I have a minute. My VA is not here tonight, so I'm doing everything myself. And it's been super exciting being in two places at once. Who knew it? From my home studio to Instagram, all over the world, and Facebook. In fact, wherever you are, make sure you leave a comment and tell me where you are because I'd love to know. All right, guys, I look forward to you seeing your comments and I will respond to all of them really soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.